If we have an open economy, that means the foreign can also save in our domestic economy. If we have a government, that means that we will have public savings. Because we have an open economy, that means the total savings that this country sees may come from our national savings, savings that comes from domestic entities, or we could have also the foreign saving into our economy. That means we won't be having any foreign savings. Foreign savings would be zero. Now, who can save in our domestic economy? We have two entities. We have either public savings coming from the government, or we have private savings coming from individuals like you and me. Again, your public savings, which is done by the government, would be zero in two cases. One, if we have no government, hence we don't have anyone who could save at a public level, or if the government exists, but if they're running a balanced budget. Running a balanced budget means that they are spending exactly the amount that they are receiving as income. So in this case, because transfers is zero, the only spending that the government can do is government spending, and they're spending every penny that they have received through taxes, which is the government's income. Now let's collect some basics that we know about savings. We know that public savings is basically the government's leftover income after all their spending. So public savings is out of their income of taxes, denoted as capital T, after spending some of it through government spending, capital G, and transfers, capital TR. How much do you have left? And that is the amount of public savings. Public savings is different in that it could be either positive or negative. In other words, if public savings is positive, then the government is running a budget surplus where they have money left over. If they have public savings being negative, that means the government is running a budget deficit where the government has spent more money than what they have received through taxes. Similarly, for private savings, individuals receive gross income, which is denoted as capital Y. Since we have the government, we have to pay taxes, but we also might receive some transfers. And so the actual amount of income, the net income that you can actually either consume or save, is not the gross income Y, but Y minus T. You pay taxes, plus transfers. You receive transfers, and this is what we call disposable income. This is your net income after taxes and transfers. And out of that disposable income, you consume some part of it, and whatever's left over is your private savings. As for the foreign savings, is basically negative of net exports or net imports, and this has another name which is called net capital inflow. Lastly, we have our savings, investment, spending identity, which basically says that the total savings in the economy should equal to investment spending. Now let's use all this information that we have along with what's given in the question to solve for the public savings in this economy. We know that according to savings, investment, spending identity, total savings has to equal investment. We also know that total savings is your national savings, so public savings and private savings plus foreign savings. We don't know the public savings yet, but since investment is given as $80 million, we know that total savings also has to be $80 million according to the savings, investment, spending identity. Our private savings is your gross income minus taxes plus transfers minus consumption. Our gross income is given as $300 million. Our taxes are $20 million. There is no transfers, and our consumption is given as $180 million. This tells us that our private savings done by individuals like you and me, is $100 million. When it comes to foreign savings, we know that there's another name for the foreign savings, which is your net capital inflow, which is given as negative $20 million. So in other words, Our total savings of $80 million is coming from our public savings, our private savings of 100 million, and our foreign savings of negative 20 million. If we solve for the public savings, that gives us 0. So in other words, in our case, the government is running a balanced budget where they are spending exactly the amount that they're receiving through taxes, which is 20 million. And in this case, the amount of investment that our economy goes through is only 80 million, while we have national savings of 100 million in total. Even after supplying all the needs for investment of $80 million, we still have $20 million left over. And where does that $20 million go? It's going to go towards the foreign, and that's why the foreign savings is negative. It's not the foreign saving into our economy. It's not our economy seeing the money flowing in, but rather it's our economy saving into the foreign economy. In other words, we see a net capital outflow where funds are flowing towards the foreign economy, or in other words, a negative of net capital inflow.